My grandmother used to say the body remembers long after the mind gives up and forgets. She was right. There are things you were never taught that you somehow already know. Your family may have stopped telling the story generations ago, but your blood kept it anyway, folded away inside you like a seed holding a whole season of sun. It does not matter that a name got changed, or a photograph got put away, or that nobody left alive remembers who you came from. What travels in the blood does not need anyone's permission to keep traveling. I have sat with a great many people across my years. Some came to me tired and unsettled, pulled towards something they could not put into words. What I told them is what I am going to tell you now. There are 5 signs that the ones who walk before you are still speaking through your body tonight while you sit and listen. Watch for them in yourself. Some of you are going to recognize every last one. Before I go on, if these words are already reaching something in you, leave a comment and tell me where in the world you are listening from tonight. And if you want the rest of what the old ones passed to me, follow along so the next one finds its way to you. The first sign shows up in your feet long before it ever reaches your head. You stand somewhere you have never been, and something in you goes still, and you feel like you have come back to it rather than found it. Maybe it is a river. Maybe it is open country where the grass runs all the way to the edge of the sky. Your chest loosens. Your breath slows without you ever asking it to. The people beside you see an ordinary field. You see a place that is asking after you by name. I have watched grown men fall silent at the edge of water they had never seen, unable to say why their eyes had filled. There is no shame in that. It is recognition. The land your people walked did not stay behind when they were gone, and when your feet cross the right ground, the earth knows its own and calls you the rest of the way home. The second sign is that you feel everything more heavily than the people around you, and you always have, since you were small. You walk into a room, and you know the mood of it before a word is said. A friend's grief settles into your own chest as if it belonged to you. You catch a lie a moment before it finishes leaving someone's mouth. You have been told your whole life that you're too sensitive, too soft, too much, and you tried to shrink it and never quite managed. That was never a flaw in your wiring. Among my people, the one who felt the most was not sent off to toughen up. That child was watched closely because feeling that deep was a kind of sight. It was the one who sensed danger early, who knew a hard winter was coming while the sky was still clear. What lives in you is that same old knowing, handed down through the blood, still doing the work it was made for. If one of these has already made you sit forward, do one thing for me before we go on. Share this with the person in your life who has always seemed a little apart from the rest of the world. They may need it more than you realize. Now, to the third sign, the one people tell me finally explain them to themselves. The third sign is that you have never felt at home in the modern world. The rush of it, the noise, the wanting and buying and showing off over things that will mean nothing in 10 years. You watch people hand their whole lives to money and status, and something low and you always said, this is not it. This is not what a life is for. You could never explain it to anyone because everyone else seemed content enough inside the race. There is a reason for that unease, and it runs deeper than simple restlessness. Your blood remembers an older way to live, one that moved slower and stayed close to the ground and to the people on it. You were made for mornings that begin with the sun instead of an alarm, for work you can hold in your two hands, for a stillness that most people now cannot sit inside for 5 minutes. The part of you that feels out of step with all of this is the truest part you carry, and it refuses to go numb along with everyone else. The fourth sign comes to you in sleep, and it is the one people are most afraid to say out loud. You dream of faces you have never met, and stand in places you have never been. You wake carrying a grief with no name on it, mourning something you cannot point to. Now and then a sound or a certain smell stops you where you stand in the middle of an ordinary day, and for one breath you are somewhere much older than your own life. My grandmother said sleep is when the ones before us come to visit, because that is the hour the wall between now and long ago wears thin. They pass through it and sit with you and show you what your waking mind let go of. If your dreams carry a weight that ordinary imagination cannot account for, that is the blood remembering while your mind is finally still enough to receive it. The last sign, the fifth one, is the pull you feel toward fire. A deep steadiness takes hold of you near a flame, and it takes hold nowhere else. You can sit at a campfire or in front of a single candle and feel a peace you cannot find indoors. You watch the wood burn and the sparks lift, and an hour goes by like a handful of minutes, and something in you settles into a stillness the modern world has no name for. That pull is a homecoming. Fire sat at the center of your ancestors' whole life. It was where the food was shared and the stories were told and the prayers were spoken, the place the people gathered and knew they belonged to one another. When that peace moves through you in front of a flame, your blood is carrying you back to a hearth that was burning long before your family forgot how it was lit. What it gives you there is belonging, the oldest thing your blood has been reaching for since the last of those fires in your line went cold. So there they are, the 5 of them, the pull toward land you have never walked, the feeling that runs deeper than everyone around you, the sense that you never quite fit this modern world, the dreams that arrive like memories, and the peace that only fire seems to give you. These are the ways your blood keeps speaking, even now, even after your mind has forgotten how to answer it back. You do not need a card or a test or a family tree to feel any of it. None of this asks you to prove anything to anyone. It only asks you to go quiet enough to feel what is already there. If even one of these lives in you, then you are older than your own name, and you were carried here by people who have not finished walking beside you yet. Tell me in the comments how many of the 5 you knew in yourself before I ever named them. I read everyone, and if this is the kind of talk you have been hungry for, subscribe and stay close, because there is far more the old ones understood that this hurried world would just as soon forget.